Hey, everybody. So, this is part two of music and the different ways that we listen to it. I left off in part one. I asked a question. So, between these two groups, Jade and Changing Faces, which group came out first? And don't Google it, don't cheat. Okay, that's not what we're doing today. All right, so we have the 8-track tapes, we have the cassette tapes, we have CDs. Now, then we have vinyl records. So here's a vinyl record, and this particular one, you can open it. It has artwork in the middle. Then also, so this one has two actual discs in it, right? So they have the liners to protect it, and this is what vinyl records look like, right? You have to be very careful with vinyl, okay? Because if you scratch it, when you try to play it, it's going to skip. And I don't really think there's a way to fix vinyl records once you skip it, once you scratch it, excuse me. So you got to be very careful with vinyl because if you scratch it, it's going to start skipping. The other thing too is you want to make sure you keep the dust off of the vinyl records too because that affects how it sounds also. Now, there are not a lot of record stores anymore, so that makes it, you're not going to find too many vinyl records out there anymore. But, if you have any in your neighborhood, go check them out because one of the things I like about the vinyl is that they have, the artwork. You look at the album cover, you get to see the different artwork. And, different artists, they do different things. And sometimes they will in their albums they might include a liner that comes with the album. There's the liners for it, and then some artists they include a poster as well. So this particular one has a poster. I think I have it upside down, but there you go. So this particular one has a poster. So different, um, artists they decide if they want to include that within the album. But what I used to like is just to actually just go through the different vinyl records and look at the artwork. And most of the vinyl records they were they were black, but this particular one, you can see this is red. This is PE, Public Enemy. So, it just depends. And also with this particular one, the actual liner of this album has the lyrics on it. So, one side, I'm trying to get it out, y'all. I'm having technical difficulties, but so it has different things on there, and the back side has some lyrics to some of the songs. So there's so many different creative ways that people would package their music. So it just really depends. But that's one of the things that I used to like about going to the record store is just looking through the different album cover, looking at the artwork. Of course, the music too, because I like different types of music. But so those are different ways we listen to music. It has evolved, as you can see, you know, 8 tracks, cassettes, vinyl. And vinyl, there's something about vinyl, right? It just has a unique sound, like a crisp, clear sound. And you just know, you can kind of tell the difference between, like if you hear something playing, you can kind of hear the difference between if it's vinyl or if it's a cassette tape and even the CD. But those are just the different forms of music. And for the young people, you like what's vinyl? What's a cassette tape? What's that? Um, you know, what's a CD? Because nowadays we listen to music, everything is streamed, download, 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 right? So it's just, and I think the downloads, the streaming, I think really hurts artists because it's like I don't think they make a lot off of the streaming for one. And for two, see the difference back in the day with the vinyl albums. Now I know they had a lot of overhead because they had to print all of those vinyl records, they had to distribute them. So they had that to deal with. But all in all, when you knew your favorite artist had an album coming out and it's getting released, you was lined up at the record store to go get it. So that was a part of their anticipation, and they made a lot more money. And I know today that there are some artists who they still tour, but a lot of people, I think COVID has something to do with that too, because, there were not a lot of concerts when COVID came about, because that you don't want to have all those groups of people. So it's just the whole music industry is just different now. And with the downstream, the download, excuse me, it's just not the same. I don't think the artists are making money. And I think that's kind of how some music has, it fell off. It's not the same. Because artists are like, I'm putting my time into this and my effort, but for what? I'm not really making any money. And some people, they do it just because they love what they do, of course. But it's just so different now. How music has changed, how we listen to it. Just how the whole industry changes. And the other thing too, back in the day when we had vinyl, you had a less chance of your music being leaked. Because if your music is leaked before the release date, that's hurting your sales too. Because it's like, oh, well, I could get somebody to make me a tape. They could copy it for me. You know, just about every neighborhood had that local DJ making tapes for people. Now, if your music got leaked, then, it's like, come on. So it's really hurting the artists these days. But I'm hoping that, for one thing, we don't have what I miss are the R&B groups. We don't have many of those anymore. And then we don't have a lot of the girl and the guy groups. And I don't know why that is, but SWV, Escape. There were so many groups, Boys to Men. And some of these groups, they may have gone on to have like solo careers, which is great. They kept it going. But, music is so different now. There used to be just a different dynamic, but also just the way we get our music. So, like right now, anything you want to hear pretty much, once it comes out, you can download it, you can play it. No big deal, right? But anyway, y'all, I just wanted to share with you about music, how it's changed, how we listen to it these days. And we there's still some good music out there, but it's just different now. But anyway, why don't you do me a favor? Before you go, leave a like, share the video with any other music lovers that you know. Okay, and leave a comment. Who's your favorite artist, and what type of music what's your favorite type of music? Do you like the CDs better? Do you like the cassette tapes, vinyl? What is your favorite way that you like to listen to your music? So I still love vinyl. I try to get it when I can. It's not as popular, but it's still around. You can find it. Just got to do a little looking. But anyway, y'all, I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, stay well and be blessed.